Today's video is the March Budget with Me video. I am going to go through my budgeting process for the month of March, and you'll see me lay out my March budget. This is actually going to be a tricky budget for me. We've got some new things going on, a different level of income, and some new ways of budgeting around our HSA that we're going to be tackling. I like to keep my budget the same every single month, but this is actually going to be something new for me, which will be refreshing because it'll be a way for you guys to see that, what it's like when I have something different happen too. We're going to be figuring this out together. It's not going to be maybe as smooth as it usually is for me. Most of the time, I'm just copying numbers from one month to the next, but I'm going to actually have to be figuring some things out here and you're going to figure them out with me. We'll do this together. So let's get started. Like I said, we're dealing with a different level of income. I get paid on the 1st. The reason we're dealing with a different level of income this month is my husband and I, we met with our financial planner. And one of the things that we brought up when we were talking about our goals and things is that we were trying to pay off our house faster. It's got a higher interest rate, but with the surgeries that my son and I had, we now have some medical debt. And so we were talking about what should our goals be? Do we want to pay off the house faster? We want to tackle this medical debt that we now have? And just trying to balance this out. What do we pay off first and how do we pay it off? And they brought to our attention that we weren't fully utilizing our HSA the way that we could and should be doing, and that paying off our medical debt really should come through our HSA if we can, because we will actually be saving money that way. So, after a couple of discussions and a budget meeting with my husband and I, we've decided to fully max out our HSA, which will be an income drop for us. So my income is going to look a little different, but hopefully net, like at the end of the month, if I can take some things out of my monthly budget and move them over to paying out of my HSA, it will be like getting a raise. So we'll see how this works. It's going to take a couple of months. Every time you start a new budget or every time you begin budgeting, it takes a good 3 months to figure out how life works. Here your numbers are going to be a little bit messed up for a good 3 months. So we're going to have to figure this out. Plus, this is just me guessing. I haven't gotten this paycheck since I've changed the amount that is going to be deducted from my HSA. So this is just back of the napkin math. I was last month getting like $2,422 on my paycheck. And after doing the back of the napkin math, I'm guessing that my paycheck is going to be $2,100. So I'm going to write $2,100 there. I won't actually know until I get that paycheck. So we'll have to see. You're going to see me over the next 3 months doing a real live beginner type budget where I'm going to have to be rebalancing my numbers as we go. So as I preach to you guys all the time, don't give up. You've got this. We'll figure it out together. I'm in the same boat right now, and I'm not going to give up. We've got this. We'll figure it out together. It's going to be a lot of conversations with my budget team, who is my husband, who is your budget team. You just have a lot of conversations in the beginning. It's going to be a lot of balancing and rebalancing one step at a time. So that is why my income is different, and that's why you're going to see me having to refigure things out on the fly as we go. We're going to move on.
And on that lovely, lovely freeze frame right there, I'm going to stop and tell you that I am sorry for the recording quality this month. I tried to record this 3 or 4 times, and finally I just had to give up and put this out there for you. I want to be consistent with putting my videos up there, just like I'm consistent with my budget. It's progress over perfection. I'm going to have to ask somebody smarter than myself to help me with whatever's happening with my video quality. I don't know why it's skipping like this, and I'm really sorry that it's going to do this a couple times through. bear with me. I will do better next time. But like I said, it's important that I am consistent with my videos and my budgeting, just like it's important that you are consistent with your budgeting. So I thought it was more important that I just get this out there, especially after 4 tries. This isn't my job. I can't spend hours and hours doing this. I appreciate your patience. I will do better next time.
Spouse paycheck, he gets paid around the 4th and the 15th. His income, thankfully, is not changing. I can just keep that the same. Oops, I forgot to total up that category and this category. Okay, so I've got my, of course, purple ombre calculator here. I love purple, us purple girls, we go hard. So I've got my 4,800 plus my 2,100. So my new total income for the month is 6,900, and I write that down at the bottom. So I'm tracking my total income, which means now for the tithe, I can put that tithe down is 10% of that 6,900. So that's 690. My emergency fund in the savings category, that's fully met. My lump sum funds, I save until the end because I hope to be able to put everything that's left over from my budget into that lump sum sinking funds. Those are my sinking funds. Um, but this is a new budget for me. I have zero idea what that number is going to be. So I can't total this page total yet. But what I'm going to do is just put the 690 down here real small until I can come back to total that page. So we're going to swipe over to the next page and we'll go on to fill out the rest of our bills. I always write the due dates as I go. These are all on the 2nd of the month because later when we do our weekly spending plan, this comes in super handy to not have to go look them up on websites. It just helps to keep them, or bills, websites or bills, just always keep your due dates handy by writing them down every time. So my water, sewer, trash is an every other month bill. It's usually like 220 something dollars around there, but sometimes it's higher. So I always budget really high for that. It helps me to build in a buffer. And so 1 month it's planned and 1 month it's spent. I treat that like an envelope. I used to transfer that into my lump sum sinking funds and then transfer it back out every other month. And it just got a little bit hard to take care of. So I just leave that in there. And then I know that that's in there as a buffer to pay. My natural gas and my electricity, those are on budget billing. So it is the same amount every single month. If you are not on budget billing, after I give these instructions, pause this video, go get yourself on budget billing, and then come right back. So you need to go get on budget billing. You're going to go to the website for your utilities and get on budget billing. They base it off of your usage for the past year. And if you just moved in, they'll base it on the previous person's usage. And they base that on the usage for the whole year and they average it out. So you're paying the same amount every single month. If you use less this year than you used last year, they'll either give you a credit on your bill or they'll give you a refund. Different companies do it different ways. You can ask that question or look it up in the frequently asked questions on their website, how they go about that. If it's more, then your amount might go up next year. But actually, both of my amounts went down this year. So we moved in October. And so ours actually went down. And so we got a credit on, what was it? One of them, it was like, I think it was the electricity bill I didn't have to pay for the month of November. So that was really nice. It just didn't come out. And so I had all that extra money to apply towards my priorities list on my extra income priorities. So that was really nice. So budget billing, the more you can have the numbers on your budget be the same every single month, the easier your budgeting life is going to be. You don't want to have $25 1 month and $150 the next. That is just going to make your budgeting life miserable. Go get on budget billing. Pause this video. Go get on budget billing right now. Okay. Now that you're on budget billing, we're going to get back to this. So internet comes out on the 10th of the month, and that's $20. Going down to groceries, we are a family of 6. Now, last month, I did a free brewery challenge in which I did not use Instacart, and I was hoping that that would bring my grocery budget down. However, I saved a lot of money so far because we're doing this before the month of March. I'm not done with my free brewery challenge. So far, I'm like at $160 in savings. But we did already overspend in our grocery category. I need to do a little bit of digging to figure out why. We haven't closed out the month yet. I'll wait a couple days into March to make sure everything is cleared for February to figure out where we went wrong in our grocery category. I think that some of my son's birthday expenses got mixed in with groceries, so I need to do some digging. I'm hoping that's what it was because we're not too badly overspent, but groceries is a category we always overspend in, and so I might need to start upping that category. I was hoping that Instacart was what was doing that, but it may not be. So we are a family of six, and we eat, whole foods all the time. We don't eat a lot of processed foods. So we'll see. Maybe with inflation and the the lifestyle that we lead, the way we eat, $1,200 may just not cut it for us anymore. But I'm going to do 1,200. Family dining out, we always do 200. That's at least one meal in a restaurant and maybe one um, fast food if we need to. Dining out, date night. My husband and I like to go on 2 date nights a month. And then fellowship is us grabbing coffees or lunches with friends or colleagues. I forgot to total up my housing category. Let's do that. So, got my calculator 150 plus 65 plus 149, 20. That was 384 in the housing category. Let's total up the food 1,200 plus 200 plus 200 plus 100. 1,700 for food. And then we need to do, I always do 300 for gas. Last month, I looked at that because I'd been watching it over the past couple of months and to see if we needed to reevaluate how much to put in there. We still were close within about $50, so I'm going to keep that at 300 and then I'm not going to change that right now. Car wash, I'm going to up that. I realized after my last month's fiasco with having to go to a different car wash, I have been doing this at $46. I had to go to a different car wash because my car wash was actually closed, and the really nice guy was willing to open it up for me so I could wash my car myself, which I was appreciative of, but also like, no thanks. I'm not going to do that. I'll go down the street and use their car wash. But it threw me off, and I had to go into the gas station part and use the ATM to pull out an extra amount of money to tip these people. And I realized I hadn't been budgeting for the tip. So I'm going to up this amount for my car wash because if I don't have cash on me, then we need to plan for the tip. So I am going to up this amount for the car wash. So we're going to be at 356 in this car and transportation category where we were at 346. So that won't be too bad. So let's calculate the page total. We got 384 plus 1,700 plus 356, 240. Okay, spouse business. I'm not putting anything in that category. Um, I think something did come out in February, which will mess up my budget closeout video. You'll see it in that video, but we'll figure that out then. Um, the 11th is when my phone bill is due. That's $69. Shopping, I always put 150 in. This is anything that's not grocery. Um, Typically, these are our Amazon and Target purchases. Hair, this will be my month to go get my hair done. So I'll put 200 and I don't have a due date on that yet. I haven't made the appointment. I really need to get that done before she books up. And then birthdays, I always put 100 in. This is a category where you'll see on our closeout video, my husband and I had a budget meeting about. This birthday category is not my own children's birthday. I have sinking funds for that. I save up for their birthdays all year long. This category is just for birthday parties my kids get invited to, or baby showers, or things like that. So we had quite a busy month. I have 4 kids. I think they all got invited to a birthday party. I had 2 baby showers, and that we had a funeral. Um, my sister's dog passed away, and so we give a gift for that. So those are gifts. So I put that in the birthday category because they're gifts. You may have a separate gift category, and that's fine, but that's how I do it. So if it's a gift, it falls under that category, even though it says birthdays. Uh, but so we went way over, like we doubled that category this month. And so my husband and I, we had a budget meeting, and that was one of the things that we talked about during our budget meeting. Do we want to raise this category, or is this a normal thing? And we had to sit down and think about this. When was the last time that we overspent in this category? And neither of us could remember the last time $100 did not cover this birthday category. And so we decided to leave it the way it was. I probably, had I not been able to bounce this off of my budget team, would have been doubling this category right away. And then I would have had all this extra money to figure out every month. So I'm thankful that I have somebody to budget with. If you don't have somebody to budget with, you need to find somebody. You need to be able to talk to your spouse, your fiance, find an accountability partner, your best friend, somebody you can count on to be your budget team, and talk with them about your budget on a regular basis. So that's my birthday fund. Let's calculate that category. 69 plus 150 plus 200 plus 100. 519 in that category. Let's see. Pet care comes out on the 23rd. If you saw my February video, I accidentally erased the 3 out of there. And so I had it be like the second. And so I was really worried about why that money hadn't come out yet, but that was my mistake. And then I was having some due date problems in the month of February. And so I recalculated all these entertainment due dates. I went back through and looked these up again. If when you do this for years, the due dates kind of creep up. So if it's close to the end of the month, then you have a holiday or a weekend, and then they take it out, at the next business day or the business day before the weekend, and then your due dates start to roll a little bit. Over the years, I've been doing this for a lot of years. Some of these due dates changed on me, and I just wasn't using the correct due dates anymore. So I looked them all back up again. These are the accurate due dates, and we canceled a subscription. So we're going down from 82 to 71 in this category this month. This is why you close out your month, and this is why you track your expenses. You don't just build a budget and see how it works out. You have to track your expenses and close out your month so you know how you're doing compared to what you have. If you're wondering what I'm looking at my notes from how I did last month and what my notes are for changes that I want to make before I do my budget. I make notes all month long of things that I want to change as I build my budget for the next month. So education and tuition, that is due on the 17th, and it's 742. We actually had an issue in February. It was time to re-enroll, and there were fees associated with that I forgot to plan for, so that went in my unplanned category. But my unplanned category is for anything that happened that I need to make a plan for next year. So that will have a sinking fund for next year. So 120 plus 71 plus 742, 933 in that category. The gym comes out on the 17th, and that's $27. Okay, so now we're at supplements, and I usually put 250 in there. However, now that we have our maxed out HSA, that's going to be coming out of our HSA instead. So I don't have to apply 250 there. The doctor's visits and the counseling, all that's now coming out of HSA instead of my budget. So this is where, while my income is lower by $300 or $324 from last month, I'm no longer planning $250 for supplements. I'm no longer planning $100 for doctor's visits or $240 for counseling, which that's not every month because I was already taking that out of HSA. So there is where I hope I'll get a little bit of a raise. So in this category now, my health category, it's literally just the 27 for the gym. So we can calculate this whole page now. 519 plus 933 plus 27 equals 1479 for that page. The mortgage is due on the 1st, and that's 1497. Debt digging. Okay. So if you watch some of my other videos this month, I broke my phone. And for all of the sinking funds I have, somewhere along the line, I deleted or somehow I didn't have a sinking fund for my cell phone replacement. I know that I did at one point, but this year I didn't. So every year I go through and revamp my sinking funds. Do I need this fund? Don't I? And I kind of rebalance them out every January. Somewhere along the line, I deleted my cell phone sinking fund. Don't do that. So we had to figure out my husband and I had a budget meeting and had to figure out where this money for the cell phone is going to come from. But in the meantime, I went ahead and put it on a 0% card. So what I did, though, you have to be careful if you're going to do this 0% financing on a store card, because they'll say 0% for 12 months, but you have to actually calculate that yourself, because after that 12 months, they're going to charge you the interest for the whole year's worth if you don't pay it off in 12 months. But the minimum payment they give you doesn't always cover the whole thing. So I've calculated it out myself. And what I will be paying, I think, yes, what I will be paying on that for now is $56 a month. So while I had no debt when I started this year out, now I have medical debt and I have this credit card that has this cell phone on it. Now I'm leaving it there for now until my husband and I can really figure out what we're going to do with that, because we also have a bathroom remodel we have to do now. Um, we just keep getting slammed, and we have savings and it's going to be okay, but we really need to sit down and look at our sinking funds and figure out how to balance all of this out between the phone and the bathroom remodel that we now have to do. So we're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. It just is going to take some conversation. That's why we have emergency funds. That's why we have sinking funds. That's why we have extra income priority lists. You guys, you got to do the steps, and over time, things will be okay. If I was just starting out and all of these emergency things happened right away, I'd be a little bit more stressed out, and I could understand that if you were too, but we've got this. We'll get it figured out. We're going to just keep going. We're not going to give up. So the medical debt, I don't have to put on here because that's coming out of my HSA. So we can calculate this category. We got 1497 plus 56. That's 1553 in that category. Insurance, I do you can do 6 months, you can do a year with some insurances, but I do a sinking fund for that. So you get a discount when you pay for it that way. So you need to call your insurance company and do that. The what else category is what else did you not think of that you need to budget for? You can put it in here. This is where I put all my spouse spending. My spouse gets $50. Um, my children get an income. When they turn 10, they get $10 a month plus a Chromebook. And then every month when they get their income, they sit down with me and they're on their Chromebook is a spreadsheet and they learn to budget. They learn to give, they learn to save, they learn to spend. And their first job in their budgeting journey is to create a sinking fund that's an emergency fund that is enough to cover the cost of their Chromebook should they drop it down the stairs or break it or something. So they're learning to budget at the age of 10, and every year they get a dollar income increase. They can do extra pay chores to get extra income, or they can do babysitting and things like that, pooper scooping, lawn mowing, raking, whatever the season may be. But they do these they do their chores and they get their income just because they're part of their family. We don't do this nickel for this chore, a dollar for this chore. I don't do any of that. That's just too hard to keep track of. They do their chores because they're part of the family and they live here, and it's just what they do. Now, child number 4 is not 10 years old yet, so he doesn't get anything. But what I'm going to do on that one is I'm going to replace with a Megan spending. Last month, in some of our budget meetings, we found out, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know this, that my husband and I traded places. He is the spender and I am the saver, but this month I've spent money. I don't normally spend money on things, but um, I knew that we were getting close in our spending category, and I still I bought nail polish. And how frivolous is that? But I did it anyway. And so he said something in our budget meeting, well, why don't you just put that in your spending category? And I said, I don't have a spending category. And he was kind of appalled. He's like, why not? I have a spending category. The kids get an income. Why don't you have a spending category? And I just never considered giving myself one because I'm not really a spender. So we talked about it, and I'm going to get a spending category this month. Um, if I don't use it, I'll save it. But this will give me the freedom to, if I want to treat myself to a nail polish or something, then I can, which I never really do stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I take advantage of this. So let's calculate this category. I was talking. Let me try that again. 50 plus 13 plus 10, 12 plus 10 plus 135. Okay, so let's total this page. 135 plus 1553 equals 1688. If we go to the next page, our total planned income was 6,900. So we need to add up the totals at the bottom of each page and see if our planned expenses match that. So we got 1688 plus 1479 plus 2440 plus, well, this page we weren't able to add up yet, so we're going to add 690 and see what we have left. So we have okay, let's go to our notes page. So we had 690. So we've only spent 6,297 so far. So let's subtract that from 6,900. We have 603 left to budget. So that's how much we did not budget yet. And we have to have a zero-based budget. We don't leave $603 left in our account just to sit there and think that it's extra money, because we will blow it. We will spend it on dumb things, and then it will just get us in trouble. So we're going to go back through and we're going to apply it somewhere. I like to apply it to savings, debt. What are your priorities? You need to look at your priorities income list. I already know what mine is. I know that I could put more towards my extra debt digging, but right there, but I know that I have some sinking funds, and now we have a bathroom remodel. That $56 I'm going to be okay with for a little while. So I'm going to go back over here to my savings, my lump sum sinking funds here, and I'm going to put that whole $603 right there, because I know that I have sinking funds that I need to fill, and I know that I have this bathroom remodel I can throw that at. So that gives me, let's total up this page. I'm going to erase that 600 something at the bottom. Okay, so this category was 690. This category is 603. Let's total up these categories here. 690 plus 603 that gives us a page total of 1293, and we always double check our math. So we got 1293 on this page, 240 on this page, 1479 on this page, and 1688 on this page gives us 6,900. We did it. So our total planned income here was 6,900. Our total planned expenses is 6,900, making a difference of 0. We have a zero-based budget. Congratulations. Now we can move on to our weekly spending plan. So I hope that that video was helpful to you. It actually wasn't so bad having to go through with that new income. I was very pleased with the amount that I had left over after a lower income, but with being able to move some of my budget items over to my HSA, I do feel like I got a little bit of a raise. I think in February, the amount I put into my HSA was closer to 400, 390 something, I think. And this month it's $603. So that does feel like a raise. And at a time where I could really use it with we got slammed so hard in February between the phone and the bathroom. I could really use that extra money going towards my lump sum sinking funds. So I'm pleased. I hope that it actually maths out that way because, like I said, this was back of the napkin math. I actually have no idea what my new income will be. Um, but I feel like I can connect better with you guys that may just be starting out with your budgets because it takes a good 3 months when you're just starting out with a new income level or any change in your budget. It takes months to get that sorted out to where you can go back to copying your numbers from one month to the next. It just takes a couple months. So we're back on the same page. I'm with you. We'll figure this out together. Stick around for the weekly spending plan. That's the next big step now that you've got your monthly budget figured out. Let me know how things are going for you. And no matter what, we can do this together. Don't give up. You've got this.